How's your summer going? Mine's going pretty good. It's really hot here this week. It's supposed to be in the hundreds all week. And next week will be in the 90s all week. It's not too bad. We haven't had as bad of a summer as maybe you have wherever you're at. But it's warm. Today's episode, number 37. We're getting down there. We're ending on number 45. And one of the workbooks is underway. Cover's being worked on. It's almost done. The first 15 episodes. And then I'm starting to work on the second set. And, then if you have a Bible study or something, you want to use the video series, and you'll have a little guidebook to go with it to do your series. And so it'll be a fun idea. Anyway, I hope you think so. Today's episode is serving him with all your heart. And I knew this passage before, but this weekend something happened that brought it to mind. And so then I wanted to study a little bit more about this. Anyway, in 1 Samuel 12:24, it says, "Only fear the Lord and serve him in truth with all your heart. For consider what great things he's done for you." Yeah, serving him just, with all of our heart. And Acts 11:23, it says, "Then when he arrived and witnessed the grace of God, he rejoiced and began to encourage them all with resolute heart to remain true to the Lord." There's a common thread in these two passages, one from the Old Testament, one from the New Testament. And for Samuel, it tells us that God has done great things for us, and in Acts, we witness the grace of God. And then Samuel tells us to serve with all our heart, and Acts tells us to remain true. So they're kind of both like, you see what God's done for you and how amazing he is, and what are you going to do about it? How are you going to worship him? Our faith is an outpouring from our heart to remain true and to serve him with everything that's within us. And the more we think about what God's done, and the more we study the word, the more we learn about it, the more we're amazed by it, and the more we want to serve with our whole heart. And one can only conclude from these passages that it's just really important to serve him with everything that you have. Have you ever been asked to do something, whether at home or at church or school or wherever you're at, and then you just kind of grumble about it, or you roll your eyes, or it's like, you don't really want to do that? I have been. It's like, really? You want me to do that? Or I've heard people say, well, that's not really my gift. Somebody says, oh, there's a need, this has to be done. And they're like, it's not really my thing. But sometimes it just needs to happen. Sometimes it needs to be done. That doesn't put down the fact that we've all been given gifts and we should utilize those gifts. But sometimes something just has to be completed, and it might not be our very favorite thing to do, but it just has to be done. Most people don't like to do certain chores like ironing or cleaning the bathroom or doing the dishes, but we all have to do them. It doesn't matter if we feel gifted in that way, it just has to happen. And so, we need to do that. We need to help people out, even if it's not our favorite thing to do. In chapter 2 of Philippians, verses 12 through 15, it says, "So then, my beloved, just as you have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. For it's God who is at work in you, both to desire and to work for his good pleasure. Do all things without complaining and arguments, so that you will prove yourselves to be blameless and innocent, children of God, above reproach, in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, among whom you appear as lights to the world." So if we're like whining and complaining about doing something, we're not really showing the joy that we have within us. And I admit I'm like not great with this either, but you always say, oh, have a joyful heart and serve with a joyful heart. And that's so true. But sometimes it's just the little things, and it seems like we're frustrated by it, or we don't want to do it, or you've done that 30 times, or, anyway, I have to work on my attitude too. How can we show his light if we're complaining, grumbling all the time? And I've actually heard that from people before. It's like, well, those people, they're just, they don't really want to do what they're doing. So I'll pray for you as you pray for me. When we serve cheerfully, we're serving from our heart. Being cheerful. What does that word mean, being cheerful? I mean, people can just tell that we're happy about it. God's the light in our lives, and he gives us joy, and we need to pass that joy on so that they can follow him and love him too. And, it's nothing neater than someone just like sacrificing something for someone else, whether it's time or money or whatever. And it's like, wow, you admire that person because of the sacrifices that they make. And it's like, that's what people need to see in us as believers. And one of the reasons that we do this calendar that we're starting up this month, in August, you might have already started it, is it just keeps us reminded, not that it has to be these particular things, but it keeps us reminded of just to keep busy for him and in different aspects of our life. And so I printed this out. My husband did this. He put it together. I give him ideas, and my daughter, Jessica, gave ideas, and we put this together, and then he made it look beautiful and did all the tech stuff that I don't know how to do. And last week we talked about that you could go ahead and start it, because it doesn't really matter necessarily that you do it on these particular days. It just is a guideline for you. But since August starts on Monday, you could just start on Monday and follow along. In January, when we did this, some people did things a week later or 3 things on one day, and that's okay. But the thing is to be consistently thinking of things you could do, and some things are worship things, and some things are just thinking things like, what encourages you to be bold? What gives you the ability to be purposeful in what you do and intentional and to be bold? And 3 ways to meet someone new, favorite verse, show kindness, some action things, walking with a friend or a neighbor, sharing your testimony with someone, praying with them, just praying, things to pray, listening to God. Some things like you can reach out to family or friends and, take someone unlikely to lunch, or that you wouldn't normally, or take someone from a church leader, your pastor or something, take them out. And Fridays, more praying things. And then Saturdays are more another action service. Help a widow or a single parent. They all need help, can't do it on their own. And having grown up with a widowed mom, man, so many times I wish somebody would help, and a lot of times they did. And that's so important. And if you've had someone in your life that's a single parent and they're just overwhelmed, or they can't just go get a prescription at the pharmacy because kids are napping or whatever. I mean, there's ways you could just say, can I come over for 2 hours today and do something for you? You can fold laundry while the kids are napping, and they can go out and do something. There you go. Helping with yard work, take someone to the movies. Call someone up you think hasn't gone out for a while. Maybe not have many friends, and just take them to the movies. Offer a service like babysitting or errands is another thing. Anyway, I hope that I printed this out, put it on my fridge to keep me reminded. Last time I missed a couple, and these are different than last time, but There was a couple I didn't get done. I'm hoping to do better this time and complete the whole thing. If you complete the whole thing and you let me know about what you did, then we're going to have a little drawing and we'll give away a book like we did last time. So it would be good to know. And some of you may not finish. And if we only have 2 people and they don't even complete, but they're almost done, we'll draw for a name from them. Anyway, it was neat last time to hear, because I got messages from people about a couple of the things that they did that were unique things, and they didn't want to post them on our page, but they told me about them, and that was really encouraging for me. So if you have some great ideas about some of the things that you do, let me know. I would love to hear from you. Anyway, tell people about this. Or if you have a friend at church, print it out for them, hand it to them, and see if they'd like to use it. Anyway, pray for your heart and attitude. Sing praises, share your joy with others, and I'll talk to you next week. God bless.